Greetings and welcome to another Grenfell MediaWatch update, and today's edition is called A Clear and Present Danger. I'm going to start with the protest that took place last week in Kensington, and this is where activists have been actually raising the issue about the toxicity inside the area, in the soil around the area around Grenfell, and its impact on children and the health of residents. Now, that's just one of the issues that are being addressed. Another issue that's been addressed is that of impartiality of the people tasked to investigate the situation. Because of course Professor Steck made these and highlighted these issues a long time ago, along with local residents. In fact, the school was opened amidst complaints by residents about whether it's still safe for children to go back. There are also other issues that we need to be aware of. Now, Grenfell-styled construction faults have led to the evacuation of a £30 million development in Liverpool. Now, this time it isn't combustible cladding, even though the cladding is involved in part of the problems. No, what it is actually the failure to actually secure compartmentalisation. I can never say that word. Compartmentalisation. I hope that's right anyway. But anyway, that's what it's led to. Now, it's 2 years on since Grenfell, and I'm pretty sure that many people around the world would have thought in the UK, at least from the construction side of things would have improved. It's not the case. The Shadow Housing Ministers reported that there's some 40,000 people still living in properties that are surrounded with combustible cladding. This is ridiculous. We just learnt that 1 in 6 new schools are built without fire sprinklers. That's right, children. We can't even rely on the government to protect children. And on top of that, the Witch magazine has reported that a 9-month investigation by the Office of Product Safety, I think it's one of those new quangos that this Conservative government knocked up, that they found out that tumble dryers are still catching fire even after they've been repaired. And the government actually won't release that report. Now, I don't know if you remember, but it was a household appliance that actually was the spark for Grenfell. Now, the government's lack of support doesn't end there. There have been interviews with a resident, Toyiko Toyoshima Lewis. She's one of the disabled residents who escaped Grenfell with her life on that night. And she's actually revealed how she's actually been holed up, and I say holed up deliberately, in a property without disability access facilities. So she's got problems even trying to use the toilet. I don't really want to go into all the details of some of her grievances. But again, like I'm saying, many people think that after Grenfell, millions and millions were spent and everything was resolved. And they don't recognise that actually on the night and after the night, people have continued to be felled. Now, we know that families affected by Grenfell are still living in temporary accommodation. And the Housing Minister, Kit Marhouse, is saying that the government's actually doing it slowly and sensitively. Now, this would be a good thing if it wasn't for the fact it's actually 2 years after the event, after the massacre. And out of 202 households that were affected, I think there's still now 19 living in temporary accommodation. Anyway, despite the failing government support, we know that there are still other good-spirited people out there doing some fantastic work. Cornwall Hugs Grenfell are still doing their amazing thing, and I think they've had some 360 people come out, use their facilities, and really have a respite from the craziness of inner city life to help with their healing. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it back in time for this month's silent walk, but if I do, if I don't, I think we've also got support from the Dean Riders. They're going to be down there showing solidarity. Anyway, before I close, I want to share this little reflection. A few days ago, there was a horrendous fire in Bangkok. It took place in a hotel and shopping mall complex. People died. I think someone jumped from the 8th floor trying to save their life. Horrendous. Now, a few weeks ago, there was a fire in a 22-block story in Bangladesh. And that was just as awful as the one in Bangkok. But this time the results were catastrophic. We had 26 people who died. I think that's the latest count. 70 people injured. The government at the time responded quite robustly. military helicopters were pouring water on the tower trying to extinguish the flames. And well, it was a complete different scenario from what happened with Grenfell. But of course, lives were lost. But what was interesting in that particular case, I'm talking about in Bangladesh, was that a few days afterwards, the tower owners were arrested, and they're now facing potential charges of manslaughter. That didn't happen in the UK. It hasn't happened in the UK, and we're still waiting to see if something like that can happen in the UK. It's going to be a long struggle, and there are many people up for it. They shouldn't. They should be able to live their lives and maximise their potential, and instead they've got to spend their energy trying to secure justice for an incident that shouldn't have happened, taking lives of people who still had so much to give. I'm going to sign off as usual and say, may the ancestors continue to guide and protect us. Ashe.